Cowboys win because Cowboys lose because live from Frisco, Buffalo Wild Wings from 972. Cowboys win because Jerry called up Bobby Petrino at Arkansas and asked how to beat Lamar. Cowboys lose because they are 1-5 against Baltimore all time.
All time?
Yes.
Dang, I didn't know that.
That is true.
Obviously just the Ravens.
From the 972, Cowboys win because they pull their head out of their asses. And then Cowboys lose because they stink again. From the 817, I don't want this to happen. They said Cowboys win because Lamar breaks his ankle. But, if that's also the only way you think the Cowboys are going to win, you probably think it's going to be a beatdown.
Hey.
From the 682, sorry, one more, Mike. Yeah. Cowboys lose because we have zero run game, and CD is the only offense. Ravens by 20.
Okay, so, ouch. I do think the Cowboys have a chance to win this game. I really do. It's really weird that the Cowboys are playing an 0-2 team who just lost to the Raiders, and it feels like listening to sports talk radio and to texters, the Cowboys have no chance. They are playing a great team. And maybe the Ravens will be a great team by the time we get to week 16, 17, and we see that they have 12 wins again. But here's how the Cowboys win in my estimation. They win because they consistently hold the Ravens to 4 yards or less on first down.
Okay.
If we see the Ravens at 2nd and 7, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 6, I think the Cowboys are going to be able to get off the field enough to limit the Ravens scoring. If the Ravens are running the ball, Derrick Henry for 6, just give up the next 6 yards and let's see if we can do it again on first down. It's over.
Okay. All right.
You're hoping for a penalty at that point, like holding out on 2nd and 4, that gives you a chance.
But at 2nd and 4, you do not think you'll stop them straight
Not at
up.
all. I just don't think they will. Now, I know that eventually they could, but after watching that Saints game, I think one of the keys, or a major key for me in this game, if the Cowboys are going to win, is somehow, I'm not saying stop Derrick Henry, but if you can make it 2nd and 7 after the handoff, that gives you a chance to get off the field those next 2 plays and make them punt. But if they're short yardage on 2nd down, I don't know how you get them off the field from what I saw last week. So my major key for the Cowboys winning is make it, people will say 2nd and long. I'm just going to be specific. 4 or less yards on first down.
Yeah, that's an interesting
That's
take
a really
there,
good one, Mike.
Because,
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, well, considering the other ones he's given in the past, Kevin. I think
That
that was
is
really,
fair.
really thoughtful.
That
Mike.
is fair.
Don't worry, I got to come with the keys of the game tonight in the Ranger game.
Listening to McCarthy this morning with Sean and RJ and Bobby and Peyton, he said, look, we're not going to be able to stop them, but we have to be disruptive. We have to disrupt what they're doing when in the run game. Like, they're going to run the ball. They're good at running the ball. They're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to be committed to it. It's not just going to be you don't gain 0 yards, but we have to be disruptive enough to be able to slow it down. And I think what Mike's saying there is what they're asking for. Be disruptive in your defensive tackles so that you can give your linebackers a chance to be to slow them down. So that's a big one right there. And somebody did say Cowboys lose because I won't do the scissor lock with Mike. So
that's fair.
I don't think that's a realistic thing.
Let me ask you this: if you did it and we won by 17 points, would you do the scissor lock again next week? Like, just as a cause and effect kind of test.
I'm not here.
That's true.
Yeah,
and they play Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Alex in.
Alec is always down for a scissor lock.
Okay, can I do the Cowboys win because?
Yeah, sure.
Or lose because. Sorry, lose because. Cowboys lose because starting the 4th quarter, the Ravens are up by 7 or more points. I think that these are very big keys to the game on both sides. If the Ravens are losing going into the 4th quarter, Lamar doesn't like that situation and usually will play bad football. We've seen the Cowboys. If the Cowboys are playing catch-up football, in a way, this is too strong. It almost looks like they quit. They're like, we can't win. They're better. Let's just pack it in. And then it kind of becomes a little bit of a blowout situation. So I do think going into the 4th quarter, this needs to be a very close game for the Cowboys.
Yeah, as Salah and Aaron Rodgers said, a 2-score game. Listen, I think Mike has a great point there because what do I say so often? As a quarterback, it is okay to run. It's great to run. You can do that. but at some point in the game, you're going to have to deliver big-time throws. And Lamar Jackson, in those moments, history has shown, kind of panics at those times.
Yeah.
And not that he panics, but he's like, I got to use my feet.
I understand.
Man, crap, dude, that game on Sunday, didn't you feel like hey, just tuck that ball and run.
Yes.
Don't throw it backwards.
Yes.
But then, that's what he did. So I feel like he's less likely to make those big-time throws in crunch time, more likely to run it, but I think the big-time throws are important. So that's I think Mike's had delivered two good Cowboys win because and lose because.
Well, Mike, my Cowboys win because kind of falls in that same area, and you might be alarmed to realize the Cowboys have scored 0 offensive touchdowns in the second half.
Yikes.
Because in their press release, they keep putting out all this, they're the third highest scoring team in the first half, and blah, 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 and that's awesome. In the second half of games, they've been outscored 23-16 and have yet to score a single offensive touchdown. The touchdowns came from Turpin's punt return. And then think about this. Field goals of 50, 40, and 46. So it's not like they were knocking on the door of the end zone. They're not, 25-yard field goals or whatever. 40, 46, and 50. So you're still even outside of the red zone when you're kicking field goals. So it has been a mighty struggle for the Dallas Cowboys in the second half.
But when you're in the red zone, you stink too.
Yeah,
so,
that's a whole different issue. So my Cowboys win because the Cowboys offense has to show up in the second half because so far they have not been particularly close to being effective.
I'll roll out Cowboys win because, and it is kind of with you on that, their offense finally starts to get rolling. In a game where they desperately needed their offense to turn it up, they couldn't. Against the Saints last week. They desperately needed their offense to show up and be there for them because their defense was drowning over and over and over. So they couldn't get anything rolling. So if their offense actually starts to cook, then they will win this game because if you force the Ravens to chase you offensively, like Mike was talking about, then I think that's a better situation for the Cowboys. Cowboys lose because they don't have the talent on the defensive front to stop this team. And I don't know how many teams they actually have the talent to stop when it comes to we want to run the ball against you. Their guys in the middle, Jordan Phillips, whether or not he is healthy, he stunk.
Yeah.
He was bad, and the play was awful. And the rest of that defensive front hasn't shown that they can do that either. I don't know that I have a lot of faith in them. So that's why they lose because until that's fixed, until they plug that hole, there's no way that they can stop the run.
Not surprisingly, I'm going to go back.
Mike's excited about his food.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, you know what? I also wanted to give a shout-out. I know a lot of them had to go, but shout-out to Frisco Legacy Christian. They're celebrating their homecoming this weekend, and a bunch of them were here. Some of them wanted to take pictures and everything.
They weren't wearing any mums.
Yeah, because the boys.
It's mum season,
Oh, yeah,
baby.
You wanted them to wear the garter.
Oh, yeah, but
right?
it is mum season, right?
Worst day of high school every single year is I felt like I was the Grinch in every class because I was like, oh, the noise, the doodads and hymn bunglers. And, it just all day, man.
What's a hymn bungler?
I don't know. That's the thing. Before I found out Dr. Seuss also drew those pictures, I thought he was overrated because I was like, hey, great. You just made up a whole bunch of words and made up other words to rhyme with them. But I guess I learned some other stuff, too, along the way that I probably didn't want to know. Okay, Cowboys lose because they can't generate big plays, especially ones outside of CeeDee Lamb. So the Cowboys have 4 pass plays of more than 20 yards. 2 of them involve CeeDee Lamb. They also have...
Is the other one Brandon Cooks for his touchdown?
That is one of
okay,
them.
All right.
How many runs do you think the Cowboys have this year for 10 or more yards?
0.
I think it's 0. Is it 9 the longest?
It's 3.
Oh,
they have 3.
Yeah.
2 of them came from CeeDee Lamb.
That's why I'm looking at running backs. Is
Exactly.
12
That's your problem. Don't look at the running backs. So when Jerry's like, I don't understand why everyone keeps asking about the running backs, because I'm like, because your most explosive running back is CeeDee Lamb. So you think about it. So your 7 explosive plays, 4 of them came from CeeDee Lamb. And so this team has struggled offensively to create explosive plays, and they have really struggled to do it without CeeDee Lamb being involved.
What CeeDee Lamb has done is supposed to complement your run game.
Yes, not be everything.
And that's tough to see whenever you can't, and you're not admitting to yourself that you're not running the ball well.
I'm going to ask a question that I probably should know by this Friday. I know that the Cowboys' run defense is weak and that the Ravens' on paper, have a very strong run game. They haven't shown it great this year.
I might argue against that, but go ahead.
Okay. When it comes to the Ravens' run defense, is it good? Like, is this an opportunity? I know it's only 2 games, so it's tough to make definitions on their run defense, but is there, like, could you say, well, gosh, we're playing the 20th ranked run defense in the NFL and we still only ran for 58 yards or whatever?
So the problem that you're going to run into there is they only gave up 72 yards rushing against the Chiefs. But immediately it's going to be like, hey, the Chiefs have already had, both injury and other problems that you're going to run into there. And then at least against the Ravens, you found yourself in a position where you got smoked by Gardner Minshew.
The Raiders?
Yeah, the Raiders. I'm sorry. But they also stuffed the Ravens run-wise.
Okay.
Let's try this again.
So we're going to have to pass.
The Raiders run-wise. So you're going to need to pass against them.
Okay.
But that's the good news. Gardner Minshew tore them up in the fourth quarter. Like, systematically broke them down. So the Ravens have had good run defense, but their pass defense has been awful.
49 for the Cowboys.
They've given up one 20-plus yard run, and they've given up 3 touchdowns on the ground. They're kind of right there with everybody when it comes to touchdowns given up.
Yards, they're good.
But like you said, 99 total yards given up on the ground so far. So I would say it's been, teams haven't had that much success. But like you pointed out, whenever you're able to get yards with Devontae Adams in the passing game like that in the fourth quarter, you're just hoping your defense can keep up the battle to keep you in the game.
Imagine if somebody hadn't watched football in the last 30 years. This matchup would confuse them to no end. Think about this. Even though we just mentioned how good CeeDee Lamb has been running the ball, the Cowboys have 170 yards rushing total so far this season. Lamar Jackson has 167 yards rushing. So the quarterback for the Ravens has essentially the same amount of rushing yards as your entire team.
But they're still. We talked to Clifton yesterday.
Offensive line shaky,
and he was like, they're still trying to figure out exactly the balance with Justice Hill and Derrick Henry. And at some point they will. I hope it doesn't happen in this game.
From the 817, Cowboys lose because they play, unfortunately, up to or down to their standard. From the 682, Cowboys win because Micah puts Lamar in a scissor lock.
Okay,
all
right.
That. From the 817, Cowboys win because Stone Cold said so. Cowboys lose because Dak throws 3 interceptions. Okay. And from the 940, Cowboys lose because we kick field goals and can't get touchdowns. Ravens take it 31-16. And I'm afraid of that as well. When we talked about the red zone offense, we talked about how they've settled for kicking field goals time and time again. I said 26-23 Cowboys, but that has 4 field goals built in, which is like, that's not really what you want. I mean, in a game like this, you'd be like, hey, I'm glad we got the points. But going into most games, your goal is not going to be, let's see if we can kick 4 field goals.
Yeah, I feel like the Cowboys are at 2 touchdowns and all field goals to win games. That's how it feels with them. Whether or not their touchdowns are from their offense, their defense, or their special teams. That's just how I feel about them right now.